Good morning, YouTube.
Hey there, demons. It's me, your boy.
I'm just showing you what I'm looking at today on this terrific Trading Tuesday. So Euro has swept its high, and that's not the only one who swept its high. So GBP USD has also swept a major high right here. AUD USD has swept its major high, with the only one left being NZD USD. So what I suspect is once this sweeps its high, that everything else will go downhill.
Wrong.
That is.
So for today, I'm looking for the counter trend short. Why am I looking for the counter trend short? Once again, think of yourself in the big shoes of the big banks and all that stuff. Do you want to be buying from up here, or do you want to maybe hit these regions, bring price down, then continue your longs to make more money? Those are my thoughts, and you may have noticed that I added in this little box for each of the USD currencies, which indicates, okay, so they are all at extreme premium. The order flow is extremely bullish, so all the trades I'm looking at are pretty much counter trend into discounted regions which price can continue up from. Now I have updated the Fundys side from the Forexfundys chart. So the euro is at a 4, the pound is at a 4, the dollar is at a 5, AOD, you get it. You get how I'm updating this. And luckily, now that we have our COT available, because after the government shutdown, it was very delayed, and we were getting COT numbers from October and December, for example. Now it's all caught up. Hopefully there's not another government shutdown. But we have more context. Not only do we have the Forexfundys chart for the fundamental analysis, but we have the COT that we can look at and see what it's saying on each currency. And then we have the Forexfundys Quadrant. This is the price versus open interest chart. This has nothing to do with the actual COT numbers from the non-commercials. This is just another context tool that shows that, okay, these currencies are experiencing a lot of strength. This could be a real trend, and these could be false moves. This is pretty much statistically insignificant. So I made it a choice to just add all this together. So obviously, fundamentally, US dollar is still outperforming a lot of its forecasts. However, there's uncertainty with the tariffs and stuff, which usually leads to bad US dollar. The quadrant, I just showed you with the quadrant here, and non-commercial shows that euros was actually selling, so this could be a pretty good candidate. But again, that was from the 13th to the 20th. It is currently the 27th. Today is the day that they report their new stuff, but we all get it on Friday, so the COT is a little bit delayed. Who knows what may have changed. So for price action, this is what we're actually looking at. Okay, so we have had our major sweep. What would I like? I'd like the false move here, allow people to get in, maybe get tricked out, swept, and then the real move down. Vice versa. On the pound. Okay, is there any M3 areas that we could call? False move, swept, real move.
You're gonna notice that all these are gonna be the same, pretty much the same schematic. We're gonna put an alert up here for NZD, and for AUD, we're looking at the exact same schematic. So maybe false move down here, swept,
real move. You get the gist by this point. Alright, JPY basket showing a lot of movement, like longs on yen pairs around this region in a discount. What could we see today? Well, very similar. I'm gonna put an alert up here for the sweep and drop before that happens. CAD pairs are also in a premium. Fundamentally, CAD is performing pretty well against some of its news. I'm going to put an alert right up here for the sweep that I want, especially because these are equal highs right here. Euro CAD. It looks like it might have had a big sweep. Yep. That's going to be really nice. Euro CAD might be a very good short after that huge run. I'll put an alert here, but this one here could literally just pop and drop. Same as GBP CAD. I was looking at this yesterday. nothing came into fruition. That's completely okay, because we don't really expect much on Mondays, but we are in a premium here. We've closed yesterday within this. We could probably start continuing to the downside. Price action is not the greatest. However, I'd want ideally this area reswept. See what happens from there. So I'm just organizing these off of the strongest right now, which seems to be the Great Britain pound. Euro is experiencing a little bit of a decrease in strength. NZD still hasn't swept the area that I talked about earlier. And AUD, I'm putting in an alert right here for the sweep. I know it didn't fully break this, but I'm just curious to see how it moves. Oh, we have to check our financial juice. Make sure that no one's speaking today. Okay, so around 4 o'clock, that's when Trump speaks. So again, we're just going to wait for our A plus price action to unfold. Like I said, I would love for NZD USD to sweep this. So one more push up on all currencies before the push down. Brighten it up a little bit in here. I do believe that these are the false moves right now. So Euro. Okay, so we broke below this low and we have a decent fair value gap here. I do believe that it's the false move down. Same as GBP USD. We did have a little bit of a sweep, but we didn't have a convincing of what I would like to see as a false move. Like this did not break this. Therefore, and on the M3, this is a fair value gap within a discount. We want these fair value gaps at a premium. So I am not interested in this as of right now. NZD is kind of messing around here. AUD is kind of messing around. So again, I'd like just the re-sweeps. That's why I have my alerts at those areas. I don't want to take the trades without the sweeps, especially with how much counter trend momentum that we would need for this, right?
Isn't that right, Charles? Right!
People were leaving the US dollar on the COT. Fundamentally is fine, but the tariff uncertainty, you never know when someone could open their mouth and say something. So we have to be absolutely certain that most of our check boxes are hit. Okay, so like I said, I suspect that these are the false moves. On days where we're not super uncertain about the US dollar, it could be decent to take this because it could very well just drop, same as GBP. But once again, I usually wait until after 9:30 to enter my trades. 9:30 could inject a lot of volume, which takes all the currencies up, especially NU, who hasn't swept its high. All right, so looks like NZD is actually showing a lot of strength here. So we're actually gonna move NZD to the top here. Maybe it's gunning for that high that I mentioned earlier. 60.02. We're running through a couple of monthly highs here, assuming it happens. On our this week tab here, we have NZD showing that they have trade balance news this week, along with business confidence. So we're going to see how that affects anything if it does. It could be moved by AUD CPI because they kind of move very, very similarly for some reason. So AUD has just swept, showing a little bit more strength than GBP. Oh, GBP notification, 9:30 volume. Maybe it's all setting up for that 1050 to 1055, like I said in the last video.
Wrong.
And Euro is the last to go. So remember to not fall for the traps early in the session, because had I taken a loss over here, I'd be pretty upset. And then when the real move happened, could probably happen at 1050 to 1055, I'm going to be pretty upset. So it's important to have your rules in place, follow them, set your alerts, walk around the room. That's what I did. I got my steps in for a little bit and just wait. Be patient. Patience pays. We're 7 pips away from sweeping on NZD. I suspect that it's probably going to run it by about 5 to 10 pips, maybe around this region here. Because if you think about the people who are holding swings, people who are holding swing shorts and probably didn't take any profits, they probably have their stop losses just above around here, right? So destroy the stop losses, and then that's when we get involved. So now I'm just going to start highlighting the zones that I'd like broken on Euro I switched to the M3 because I'm comfortable taking trades on the M3 as long as our trap has been swept, which it has across the board. GBP USD, this isn't very clean right now. AUD USD, this is a safer option. I know you could argue this causes push up, but I'm going to choose the safer option here because we're on the M3. NZD doesn't really have one yet. I hope that it does something along the lines of pushing down, then sweeping. Okay, so we've kind of got what we've hoped for. I hope that now price sweeps this, like I said, this area, and uses this as a little structure point to break. This is the point that I want the break to happen below, but not right now. I want the sweep of this. No, GBP, we're going to put this as the alert zone. Likewise on Euro, this is my alert zone. News-wise, we actually have consumer confidence coming up soon and Richmond Manufacturing Index. They're both not heavy hitters, but let's see what changes they make on our Forexfundys chart when the next update comes in after the news. Remind you that we do have FOMC tomorrow as well, which they're expecting to keep the rates the same. Usually a lot of the movement happens after the FOMC meeting, after Powell starts talking. So investors, hedge funds, they might be on edge today. So far, Euro to me is looking like a top contender. 119,500 got hit, and that hasn't been hit in a long time. So what I'm thinking is that we either drop and then we trace, or something along these lines happens where we make one more little structure point, and then we have our hard move. I'm going to take a photo of this for journaling purposes. But I would love for the Euro to have the fundamentals align with the technicals. It would be pretty sick. Well, technically, on my side of the Euro fundamentals, it's just the COT that's showing it. All right, NZD USD is propping up for that sweep that we talked about in the beginning of the session. Let's see what happens. And let's take a look at the other currencies as well. Okay, so AUD is also on a flyer here. I'm comfortable with moving my break zone to here now because this is off the M5. GBP USD, comfortable with moving this as the break zone. Again, I'm more confident in M5 breaks than M3 ones. Euro, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we can move the break zones to here. Again, I suspect NZD to sweep the high, maybe about 5 to 10 pips or more than that. And then we can actually get our move at 1050 to 1055. I'm just gonna move my break zone on NZD USD to this area right now. Completely forgot that we had the consumer confidence news and the Richmond manufacturing. Let's see if that's gonna be turn out to be good for the dollar. This one, not so great. So we're gonna get a little bit of data points going down for the dollar. We need a big heavy move down, and then we're interested. I know you could argue that maybe a break point down here, but remember, this was news. We always expect news candles to get taken. Just gonna get some steps in while I wait. No point in just sitting here all day. I got some steps in earlier. This is what they're looking like. Now, I'm not good at swing trading, but I think that this is probably a great one to forward test. AUDCHF, like I said, we have a bullish reading on AUD for the Forexfundys chart. So I'm gonna just journal this for journaling purposes. I was a horrible swing trader before taking account to the fundamentals. Just want to collect these just because, well, with the US dollar volatility, with us traders not really being in control of what happens, how does this swing trade look? Well, we had the false move up, swept that real move, potentially fundamental AUD being strong, well, according to the other stuff here. So that's my case for that. And yes, we did a little extra 1,000 steps there. I hope that this is a big engulfing candle, which coincides with the M5 break that causes the move down across the board, that is, as well. So that's what we're looking for. If we don't get that, no trade will be taken. Last hope on this trade would be maybe this heavy move down, passing this fair value gap, and then down. But we are approaching the 1050 to 1050 goaded time. I'm going to monitor the same thing on the other pairs. So Little sweep. Oh, interesting. That's how we organize them. Now, GU does look interesting, to be honest with you. Okay, so I am interested in GBP USD. Assuming that we have a good 10:45 close. Like I said, goated times, it should probably retrace. We have two good fair value gaps. On the M3, we're looking pretty good. We're not a stop loss away, but we're close enough where we could get in this session. My session is at 11 o'clock, remember that. But to me, GBP looks like the weakest currency currently. Euro is kind of close too. Obviously, on the fundamental side of things, Euro is weaker and it has had its M3 break of structure. It's just not as clean as GBP USD, but we did have a break of structure here. On the M3, I wanted the M5, but GBP was just cleaner for me. So, and 1050 to 1055. That M15 closure is a pretty good one. Gonna see out of curiosity what would happen if you got into the Euro on the similar setup. You could market execute right now. Just want to see if divergence can be a play today with EU and GU. Euro GBP is probably going up. Yeah. All right, we're at goated time 1050 to 1055. When I said I'll probably be in something. Will I pay for not taking the Euro? We'll find out. I prefer GBP though. It looks so much better to me. Now I'm almost debating getting in Euro or not, but I wanted GBP. That's what we're sticking with. It's nice how it tapped into this fair value gap after the miniature structure break, but I still like GBP's way better. Okay, 11 o'clock has hit. Just like that, my session is over, but I am just going to keep on watching this as if I actually got into the trade just to see how I would manage it. If this was a winning trade, if this is a trade that would be a break even by 11:30 trade, and going to monitor EU if this was a trade that was just a didn't take within my journal for those purposes. Like I said, I don't take trades after 11 o'clock unless we are in a time change, which I believe should be around March. Okay, just a little bit of an update on the Euro and the GBP stuff. So GBP right now would be heading towards the entry point that I had. I could delete this now because I'm not looking to get in. Like I said, rules are rules for a reason. 11 o'clock is my cutoff time. This is just a lesson on divergence saving once again. I chose to focus on GBP USD. Yes, Euro had its break. Was it great on the M5? No, I specifically said I needed this M5 broken on the Euro, or else something like this could happen, right?
Right!
On GBP, this showed a lot more aggression. However, it still doesn't fully look like it's ready. If I was actually in this trade, 10 minutes is when I can move my stop loss to break even, and we're still going to play this out, see what happens. Now, if we take a look at NDD and AUD, they are on flyers right now, so probably the move is fully waiting for the rate decision tomorrow. Like I said, most likely a pause. I will drop a rates video tomorrow as well. Okay, so Euro update. Euro still is in on TradingView, but there is no broker in the world where you are still in this trade, so that is a loss. Okay, it is officially 11:30. If I was in this trade, I would roll my stop loss to break even. And with my rules, this would be a break even. So we're not mad. We're not mad about even missing the trade today. Price doesn't always have to hit you. And following the rules. Okay, so we got a break even here. Nothing from the market, but we followed our rules. And once again, on Euro USD, what would have happened? Loss. So the divergence rule saved me there. Overall, not every day is a winning day, but it's a winning day when you trade your plan. So it's been your boy. Peace. And tomorrow I will drop the rates video. So stay tuned.